Hey friends, welcome back to CraftyNurseQ, where I am faithfully planning my days and budgeting with grace. If you're new here, I'm Cubatis. I'm a wife, a mother of five, and I'm your sister on the journey to debt freedom. Today I'm walking you through my monthly budget, and I will be doing some faith-filled planning for my expenses for the month and showing you how I am staying motivated, all while keeping God at the center. If these types of videos interest you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and stay tuned. Okay, welcome back, and thank you so much for staying here with me today. If you're new here, my name is Cubatis, and today, like I said, I will be setting up my monthly budget, and I will be using the sheets for the purposes of filming. I'll be using some printed sheets because they are bigger, but this is the one I will be writing in. This is a planner that I've made. It is available for sale on my website, but these are the same sheets that I will be using, and I have put them into a bigger planner because it's a lot easier to see me writing on the camera. Okay, and so today, how I start off, every time that I'm doing my monthly budget. Okay, so actually we are paid monthly, but monthly didn't work for us. We had to realize that, like, if you're paid monthly, then you need to still break your budget down weekly. Okay, so first off, everything that I do, my tithes come out first, and then I start budgeting with whatever is after that. So by the time you see me doing the budget, I've already like pulled my tithes out of it, and I don't even like um, count that as part of like the pay. I just take the 10% out, and then whatever I'm gonna do, like for my church or my giving donations, all of that's out for the most part as well. Okay, so today some of the sheets that I'm gonna be using. So I'll be using my monthly budget sheet, and these are all gonna go into my happy planner. So it starts off with the monthly budget, and then we have the paycheck breakdown because I am a cash budgeter, and that helps me to get along by breaking down my budget and my bills and everything. I just divide it by four, and that way we can get through the month. Um, and then a lot of times we get extra pay, other pay from other sources throughout, and that's a lot of the supplement that you'll see sometime. But I just put that into when I'm budgeting, when I'm doing the budget. Okay, so that's how I do that, and um, this is the sheet that I use, like, for breaking down the denominations that I need. And I have right now currently my budget system is I have my bills finder, which is set up with everything already, like all the planning is already there for that. And then I'm doing month ahead, sinking funds, envelopes. Wait, this is twice. Okay, I see what happened here. And then savings challenges. And then I'm gonna do it both ways because I always write my bills on the monthly spread, but I'm also pulling out this month. I'm gonna try also doing the monthly bills tracker because that is a part of like the planning system that I have, and it's nice, and you just write it out and then your due dates and then write it, check it off as you go. And then every week I come in and I do my weekly expenses as I'm going through. And then on the back, I will see like how many days I went through, and I had how many no spend days that I had. I really don't have like a challenge for my no spend right now. I'm not currently doing any challenges for my no spend, but I do give myself, if I have some no spend days, then I will break that into and do $5 for each day that I didn't spend, because that's extra money. And like, these are the trackers that I have, like for my debt snowball tracker. I have month ahead, savings challenge trackers, and I set my planner up already. It'll be in some of the other videos where I have the goals and everything, and just so you see that this is the exact same. And what I was talking about with the goals, let me see if the goals are in this one. Yeah, like I put my goals and it's already actually set up in other planner. But this one I finally received when I got the physical copy. I actually did a giveaway on a couple of these, and so And then with this, it gives you like different types of, if you are different, but if you like to do the zero budget and a monthly budget, it has all of those here. And then it just, repeats month after month. And so this one is not going to say 2025 anymore. I'm just going to leave it from now on. Like, even if you order the one that says 2025 on it, it won't have that on it unless you specify that you want to say 2025. All right, so what I'm going to do first. Okay, so and then what you will want to do is you will want to write out what what your bills are going to be, and you have to give yourself like a budget for what you're going to be working with. So they were working with it was just around about $6,000 for income. Let's just say, okay, and then you have your bills. Your fixed bills are going to be your mortgage. Okay, so as I do this monthly breakdown part, it's important to note that if you are paid weekly, then you would gather all of the income for the month and add those up, and you could use those 4 lines, 4 week sheet, and then just total what your monthly income is. And I've written down the 6,000, and then you would take your tithes and everything, all your giving that you're going to be taking out. And then throughout the week, just kind of break it up as you need to break it up as you go. But for here, the second part after you've done the income is you want to write out your monthly bills. And for me, I have broken my bills down, and that is what I cash stuff weekly, and I divide that by 4, but I cash stuff it weekly so that I can have my bills for the month. And that's your mortgage, your utilities, your car payment, your insurance, and I am writing mine out here. And then you also want to go in and put down your variable expenses. And then for mine, when I do it, it's going to come up to like 3830 or something like that. And those are the expenses that I know that I have. And I try to give myself a buffer as I'm going throughout the month. That way, what your buffer is, it can be, your savings, and it can be your sinking funds, and like your debt pay down, because right now I really am in the debt pay down portion of my budgeting. So any extra or something that I have besides the bills that I know I have, that goes towards that. And also, you do want to kind of give yourself some grace just in case something else comes up. But first, and then that's why we build our emergency fund as well, so that if something else comes up, it doesn't blow your budget. That's if you're doing the zero-based budget. You don't want to blow your budget on something that could come up at the end of the month. So try to give yourself some grace, some sort of leeway when you're going through with your monthly budget in the monthly budgeting process, because this is just like a tentative part. You don't know what's going to happen through the month. With God's grace and everything is going to run smoothly as we want it to. They say we make plans and God says something else, but so it's just like a tentative thing, just so that you can know and like have some thought in mind of where you possibly will need to go with your monthly budget. So just here, as I'm continuing to go over the variable expenses, now this is the place where you can cut things out. The grocery bill can be cut by some strict couponing, just if stuff starts to happen throughout the month and you need to do something to change. That's why even if you're paid monthly, you need to be changing and giving yourself like a weekly budget or like a weekly reset every week. That's why I learned that that's what we need to do. And this would be the place for it to come out of. It would be like stuff like subscriptions, groceries can come down. Some stuff is just unnecessary things. You have your stuff that you have to have, and then the stuff that you don't necessarily, you can live without. That's where your spending would be cut if you're not able to change like your income and you're like in a deficit when it comes to your bills being higher than what you're making. So that's how I do the monthly part, and then after that I go in weekly to do my budgeting. All right, so here I'm going to need to write out what the dates are, and I'm going to speed it up to do that, starting on Tuesday. Okay, so here I'm just going to write all the dates out for June, just dating the monthly calendar. And then after that, I am going to take a sticker sheet and write the bills on there. And then I place the bills where they're supposed to be because I like to have a monthly bird's eye view of where everything's going to be going throughout the month. And this right here, once you see how your bills are, if you're paid weekly, then you assign a paycheck to whatever bill you have. That's how you break your that's how you break it down. And I still do that throughout the month. That's why I do it on a weekly basis. Okay, and I'm just going to continue. I'm just going to write the month up here at the top, and I'm going to give myself a scripture for this month to keep me motivated. And that's all I'm doing here. All right. My God shall supply all your needs according to his riches and glory by Christ Jesus. That's riches. Riches and glory. Let's do that. Okay. That's a good one. Because I was looking at them like this is like throughout the month, a lot of things. And I was telling you, co-pays are changing, insurance is changing. It's a lot more things here. Okay. So now when I have that set up, that's what I do there. And um, all right. And so the next step that I do is I'll go in for the first week. For the first week, I'm gonna go ahead and do what 1440. Okay, and so that's what I do after the monthly setup. I break it down weekly, and I do the weekly videos for it, and I do cash stuffings with it. And this week I'm doing the 1445. What I do is I start off by I'm going to write it in as pay, and then I take the paycheck breakdown part, and I literally just take my calculator, and the 1445 that I'm giving myself is usually enough to, because I pretty much know what the bills are and how much the saving is going to be, sinking funds, my groceries and my variable spending. So, and then once I get through all of those bills, I just take it and I go, step by step, and I subtract it as I'm going. And once I get through with those, that's when I know how my savings and how much I can allocate to sinking funds and to debt. Now, if you are a person that's ready to be just focused on like savings, then you can do your savings first, or and then you live off of what you're living off after that. Now, if that's where you are, in your budgeting journey, or if you're like with the debt, you just want to pay down your debt, then you would give yourself a lump sum towards that, and then live off of everything else. But for myself, I do my tithes first, I do my bills, and I go off of the saving after that. So that's what you see here. And then after that, once I do the paycheck breakdown, the next step you'll see me just going into how much cash I'm going to be allotting in my envelopes. So after I've assigned the amount of money that's going to go towards the area, then the next part is the cash planning part of it if you're a cash budgeter. If you're not a cash budgeter, then you don't have to do that part. But I am a cash budgeter, and I like seeing the money go up as throughout the month, and then stuffing and unstuffing the envelopes, and that helps me because I'm seeing the wins. I'm a visual person, so that is how I do the planning process. And also, you do your cash breakdown card, and that's the thing that you take to the teller or the ATM machine. If you don't want to get into like dealing with fives and ones, you could just go to the ATM machine with this as well. But all of these things are linked. I can have it linked in my shop if you are interested in any of it. Okay, and that's how I do my monthly and weekly budget setup. And I hope you found some value from this video and my explanation of my monthly and weekly budgeting process. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments below, and let me know some of the things that you're working on for this month. If you're working on like saving more, or if you're working on your sinking funds, or you're working on your debt still, just let me know in the comments below. And go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're new here, and like the video as always. And I'm just thankful to you guys for joining me today. And as always, I pray you all have a blessed day. Okay, bye. And be on the lookout for the next video coming.